Well, yesterday, the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights published a report assessing human rights concerns in the Chinese province of Xinjiang. The report states there are systems of arbitrary detention and indications of violations of reproductive rights against the Uyghur people. The report concludes this may constitute international crimes, in particular crimes against humanity. Well, joining me now is Rahima Mahmut, the UK Director of World Uyghur Congress. Rahima, thank you for joining me. This is very shocking reading, but unfortunately for you, I'm sure it's not surprising.
Yes, UN has confirmed all the concerns that we have been calling for the international community and the governments to act. So this report has been a source of hope for my community, but also a source of frustration for those of us that so desperately want the UN to recognize what is happening is genocide.
They stopped short of calling it genocide, but even despite that, as I said, it's quite shocking to see the things that they're talking about, forced sterilisation, for example, and keeping people against their will in detention camps, concentration camps, if you will. And of course, you have personal experience of this because you haven't been in contact with your family for quite a considerable time now, have you?
Absolutely. For Uyghurs, living, whether they're living inside what we call East Turkestan, the China called Xinjiang region, and people like myself living in exile, it has been hell, 5.5 years. We don't know, majority of us don't know what happened to our loved ones. And many of us found out that many relatives disappeared, taken into these camps. And I always ask how this is allowed to happen in the 21st century. The first UN report on forced disappearance acknowledging up to 1 million Uyghur and other minorities detained. That was in August 2018. And I thought immediately after that, there will be some very strong actions, but we didn't see that kind of actions. And the Chinese government really fought very hard to prevent for this report to be released. And yesterday, disturbing reports emerged that said that the forced sterilization section of the report has been watered down in the final hours before its publication because they didn't want to call this as genocide.
Well, Rahima, just finally, I mean, China has, as you rightly said, dismissed this report and called it disinformation and said it's farcical and what have you. And given that they have taken that attitude to this report, what can we do now, people watching and listening to the show, what can we do to help the Uyghur people in East Turkestan, as you would say?
Thank you very much. It's very important that first raising awareness and put pressure to our government, write to MPs and call on the government to recognize this as genocide and fulfill its responsibility under the Genocide Convention. And also we have everyone has consumer rights. We need to question where our pension funds are going, why UK is still allowing forced labor goods into its shores, and also ban the surveillance companies like Hikvision, Huawei, any kind of product that is implicated in this genocide should be stopped. So people can really play huge role, join the campaign, Stop Uyghur Genocide, and our campaign on forced labor and forced labor, and calling on the government to do more, to take more action. Sanctions is extremely important. We
Thank
know,
you, Rahima. Unfortunately, we're at the end of the show.
Quite quickly after seeing all that bombardment, but now it's time for our
Rahima,
government.
we unfortunately have to leave it there, but your voice has been heard loud and clear, and I want to thank you for coming on, Rahima, and we'll keep watching what's happening in Xinjiang province to give it the attention it needs.